recent discovery once you compare it to other discoveries made in Africa. And before then, Westerners thought they were mythical creatures, kind of like the unicorn, so rarely seen they were. We're gonna be approaching a watering hole over to the left that usually serves as a gathering place for many animals in Africa. But if you look over to your right hand side, up the hill, see there's a few greater kurus. The greater kuru is the second largest of the forest antelope. The ones you see over to your right are females, but you can see the black rhino over to the left. Sadly, there's only around 5,000 black rhinos left in the world, so because of poaching, they are hunted for their horns, which are then sold in the black market, so they are critically endangered and facing extinction right now. Black rhinos can weigh up to 3,000 pounds when they're fully grown, but don't let their size fool you, they can still charge up to 35 miles per hour. Now the ones coming up on the right hand side are bongos. Bongos are the largest of the forest antelope, but they're pretty. Very, very pretty. They are known as the ghost of the forest because that color gives an amazing camouflage. So just like the okapi, the bongos are very rarely seen. Now during the day they're very shy, but once the sun starts setting, they get a little more comfortable with the trucks being around. And they use the darkness as cover, so they think we can't see them once it gets darker. Now we're gonna leave the forest behind. We're gonna go to the Safi River. Now once we get to the river, keep your eyes in the water, be on the lookout for any bubbles or ripples that may appear, because there might be hippos on these parts, so we'll see. Now hippos like to spend most of their time in the water, but they do come out every once in a while, especially at night. They get a bit more active on land once it's dark out. That's when they come out of the water to graze the lands and socialize. On your left, you can see the hippos. So, and they spend most of their time in the water, even though technically they don't really swim. They usually just float, or they'll dive all the way down to the bottom of the lake or the river and they'll walk in the bottom instead of swimming. Now, hippos are herbivores, so they're still very territorial and aggressive animals. They are classified as the most dangerous animals in Africa, so you do not want to mess with them. Now, to your left, you can also see the pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get their name because their skin turns pink during mating season. You can see they have a few nests on the left side of the island, so you might see a few pelican hatchlings around here soon. Now, right around the corner here, we're going to be crossing a very old bridge. And as we cross, make sure to look over to your left. So you're going to see the Nile crocodile over here. Now, these are the largest crocodiles in Africa. They can grow from 16 to 18 feet long, which basically means if they were standing their tail, lo que hasta las a giraffe. They can hold their breath for around 2 hours once they go in the water, and they can stay still for hours. If something comes near them, they snap. Very fast animals under their size, and they'll eat pretty much anything that moves and has meat, from zebras, wildebeest, birds, and fish. They are not picky with their food at all. Alright, now we're leaving the Safi River behind. We're going to the Savannah. Now, Savannah is home to animals like lions, zebras, giraffes, elephants. Some of the world's most famous animals live right here in this beautiful ecosystem. So hopefully we get to see at least some of them today. Now, first up in the Savannah, we'll be driving through the Serengeti Grasslands. Around here, you have to be on the lookout for wildebeest, springboks, the Ankoli cattle. We might even see hyenas up ahead. Now, as we drive through the savannah, you'll notice that most of the animals we'll encounter like to stay in larger numbers. That way they stand a better chance against predators. Because, for example, if a lion were to see a group of 30 wildebeest, it probably won't attack. But as soon as one of them separates from the herd, the lion might see it as an opportunity to grab a quick meal. So there's safety in numbers around these parts. Now let's see over to the left. Sometimes you can find the hyenas around here. I haven't seen them all day. That said, hyenas are mainly nocturnal, so it's usually later at night you see them being a little more active. I don't see them right now. Oh, I see the wildebeest coming up ahead. Get a closer view of them here. Now, wildebeest have the largest land migration in the world. Around 1.5 million of them migrate every single year through Serengeti altogether. So just imagine over 1 million of these guys in the same place, heading the same direction. Now, the name wildebeest means wild beast. They get that name for their mean-looking face. But they're not that bad. They'll see grass all day and throw the occasional stampede. But other than that, they're very mellow. At least they usually are. The wildebeest are also known as gnu for the noise they make. That is G and U. So the gnu and the wildebeest are the same animal. Over to your right hand side, you can see the ones with the very long horns. Those are the Ankoli cattle. Now the Ankoli cattle are also known as the Watusi cattle for the tribe that first domesticated them. They are the only domesticated animals on the reserve. Those horns can grow from 4 to 6 feet long each, but they're mostly hollow. Each horn weighs around 15 to 20 pounds, which again is not much once you consider how long those horns can get. You can see there's a few giraffes up the hill to the right. We'll probably get to see a few more of them around the corner here.
Yeah, they do.
There they are. Giraffes you'll be seeing tonight are Maasai giraffes. You can tell because of the spotting pattern. The spotting pattern is a little more messy and a little darker than the other 8 subspecies of giraffe. None of them have the same set of spots. Each one has a completely unique pattern, which makes them fairly easy to identify. Once you learn those patterns, it's kind of like our fingerprints. Giraffes can grow from 18 to 20 feet tall. They are growing at a height for around 6 feet tall, so a newer baby giraffe is already taller than the average human being. Now, since they are that tall, and they do give birth while they're standing up, that means a baby giraffes are around 6 feet down is born. It's a little tough being a baby giraffe, but they're usually on their feet in less than an hour. Is very quiet around here? I want to scare off the baby. This kitty over here. Enjoying that branch. Oh, hello. Oh, guys, make sure you keep your hands inside, okay? Thank you. Oh, there you go. See, he was here. Just start kicking around like crazy. Alright. Now, as soon as we go over this hill, we'll be driving through Tembo country. Tembo is the Swahili word for elephant, so I get to see the elephants up ahead. You can also see those very large trees over to the right and left on top of the hill. Those are baobab trees. And baobab trees, also known as the upside down trees, they can look like someone climb upside down. The branches look like roots. Those trees can live to be up to thousands of years old, and they can store thousands of gallons of water. They go leafless for around 9 months out of the year. Sometimes during dry season, elephants will poke holes in the baobab trees to drain the water out and drink from them. Oh, I see some elephants coming up ahead. Now, elephants are very social animals, with the females and the young ones spending most of their time together, while the males like to spend time alone or in a bachelor group once reach adulthood at the age of 13. And if you notice the wrinkles on the elephant's ears, those are blood vessels. So elephants also flap their ears, and doing that helps with the blood circulation. They can get their temperature up to 15 degrees lower just by doing that. So when it's a hot day outside, you'll see them flapping their ears a lot. And just like us, elephants have very sensitive skin, so what they do in order to protect themselves from the sun is they'll spread sand or mud on their backs. That works like a natural sunscreen of sorts. They're very smart animals. They find many ways to stay cool here. And they also go for a swim every once in a while. Now to your left, you can see the greater flamingos over here. Greater flamingos have the lightest shade of pink. When it comes to flamingos, they get that color from eating shrimp, which contains some mineral called beta-carotene. It usually takes around 2 years for those feathers to go pink, but even then they always have black feathers under their wings. They never go completely pink. Now we usually have to be a little more cautious around here. Sometimes our white rhinos are on these parts, and believe it or not, they always appear out of nowhere. I don't know how they do it because they're huge. They always manage to catch me off guard. That said, if we do encounter a white rhino, there's nothing to worry about. They're very peaceful animals and they don't mind us being here as long as we don't bother them too much. Now, right around the corner here, keep your eyes peeled for any movement to your left, because you might see cheetahs around here. And the thing is, when they lie down, the cheetahs blend in very well with the leaves on the ground. Oh, there's one I saw. It's gonna be top of the hill behind those fallen branches. You can kind of see the cheetah is lying down back there. See, it's moving just a little bit, so you can barely see it back there. The cheetah is the fastest land animal in the world. They can run from 65 to 70 miles per hour, and they can reach speeds of 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. But even though they're very fast, they can't hold their speed for long. They get tired very fast as well, so they basically sprint instead of running.
Oh, he's gotten that too.
And contrary to other big cats in Africa, cheetahs are daytime hunters, so they're pretty active during the day.
I did, but
At least they usually are.
we'll see if it comes out right.
Right around the corner here, you're gonna see this very large rock formation to the left. This is known as a kopi. And there's a lioness right there.
She's standing up.
See a lioness, you can see a lion sleeping there. Now usually during the day, lions are very inactive. They spend 18 to 20 hours a day sleeping, so
Oh my goodness.
very lazy cats. She's just leaving us a present there. Now the females do most of the hunting at night, while the males like to stay around here, protecting the territory and taking care of the cubs. So the males are basically stay-at-home dads. They do get very active at night for about 4, maybe 5 hours. They are amazing night hunters. Their eyesight is around 6 times stronger than ours at night. They basically see at night how we see during the day, so if you ever see a lion at night, that lion already saw you. See the other female sleeping back there. Also to your right hand side is about 1 or 2 water bugs and 2 bounty bugs back there. We'll get a better view of the water bugs and the bounty bugs in a few seconds. Now sadly, lions and their habitats are increasingly under threat. There are only around 20,000 lions left in the wild out of 200,000 that were left a century ago. This is mainly because of poaching, because they're hunted for their coats. Now since the first Lion King film came out 25 years ago, we lost half the population of lions in the wild.
Wow.
In only 25 years. Now, to celebrate the new Lion King film, Disney started a new initiative called Protect the Pride. So the goal is to double the amount of lions in the wild by the year 2050. A very cool thing we did during that week the movie came out is that Disney donated $2 for every single guest at Royal Safaris during that week. So we managed to raise over $300,000 towards lion conservation in just 1 week. So again, the goal is to have 40,000 lions, 40,000 in 30 years. Oh, these are the ice cows in the back up here. These are the white rhinos over here. Usually the white rhinos and the giraffes are the biggest troublemakers here. They just love to stand in the middle of the road for no reason. Just a few months ago I had to wait half an hour for a giraffe to move out of the road. I'm not joking.
Oh my god.
It's 30 minutes of the giraffe looking at me. Let's just wait for this rhino to move here. Oh. Now, as you can see, the white rhino is not really white. They get their name not because of their color, but because of the African word white, which means wide. So because they are wider and larger than the black rhino, and their mouth is shaped differently. It's more of a square shape instead of the V shape that black rhinos have. That's the easiest way to tell the white rhinos and the black rhinos apart, other than the size, because the white rhinos are about 2,000 pounds heavier than the black rhino. They can still charge up to 35 miles per hour. But again, as you saw, very peaceful animals. As long as we didn't do anything weird, they'll stay quiet, they'll stay calm. You may have noticed that every time I talk, the rhinos move their ears a little bit. That's because they rely mostly on their sense of hearing to know where they are. They have very bad eyesight since their eyes are so far apart and so close to the ground. They can only see up to 10 feet in front of them when they're running. Now it's been very quiet lately around here. Sometimes you can find the oryx, the scimitar horned oryx around these parts, but I haven't seen it in a while. It's usually very shy, so you only get to see it like once or twice a day, if you get to see it. It's a white antelope with very long horns, just be on the lookout for it. Oh well. So if you ever find yourself back at safaris, be on the lookout for the oryx. It's a beautiful animal. It was completely extinct in the wild from the 1980s till 2016. So it was only 3 years ago when 25 of them were reintroduced into the wild. So their numbers are still very, very low, but at least there's a few of them out there. So hopefully as years go by, their population will keep increasing as well. Now my friends, it seems that we are approaching the outskirts of the reserve right about now, which means that sadly our trip is coming to an end. I hope you guys had a blast and got to see at least some of the animals we wanted to see tonight. Just know that no two safaris are ever the same, so you feel more welcome to come back. You might see some animals you didn't see your first time, or you might see less. Since they're very unpredictable, the animals always make sure you don't have the same safari twice.